Hi guys. So I have some bread rising right now. We're going to be making some loaded potato soup, but I wanted to show you what I put in my soup. So I do like to use golden potatoes. I think these are creamier, where the russet are more like, I don't know, they've got kind of like a texture to them. These are a lot creamier. Anyhow, I'm using those. So I cut up about 12 potatoes. I peeled them and then I cut them up into, let me show you, some like big chunks. I also cut up about 4 or 5 carrots. They're kind of thin carrots, some chunks of carrots, and I have that. And I'm gonna turn that on. Actually, I just turned it on a few minutes ago. And I'm gonna get that to boil. And then in the meantime, we are going to cut up our vegetables. Sorry, what I should have said was in the meantime, we're going to be cutting up our bacon and onions and garlic, etc. So I've got some bacon. This is just Kirkland bacon from Costco. And I've got about a pound here. So we're going to be using the entire pound. You can use more if you want. If you're a vegetarian, then you can leave it off, but I like it. Makes it taste way better. So I'm actually going to be cutting these up into small pieces, and then we're going to put it in our pan and get that frying, get that fat rendered out. We're kind of going to cook it in a low heat. So get all that fat rendered out of it, and we're going to use probably most of the fat. So y'all are on a diet, this is not the recipe for you. No way. So got all my bacon all nice and chopped up, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pan. Should probably turn it on. I'm just gonna kind of mess with it a little bit and get them separated a little bit. But once it starts rendering, it'll start separating a little bit better. All right, so we've got our bacon there in the pan, and now what we're gonna do is we are going to use 1 whole onion. This is about a medium-sized onion. Use more or less. If you don't want to use onion, that's fine. I just think it gives a lot of flavor to the soup. So let's go ahead, there's a piece of bacon. Let's go ahead and get this onion chopped up. I always keep a plate to the side for all my trash. Get that off. Jeez, I'm having a hard time. Right. There's that. Get that other piece off. My hands are so greasy from the bacon. And no, I'm not washing my hands because this is all going to go into the same pot. So I'm not even worried about that. So let's go ahead and get this all kind of diced up. I like to finely dice it. Okay, don't come at me with my chopping skills here, but I know this is dangerous having my whole hand like laid out. I'm not a professional by any means, but this is how I chop my vegetables, so whatever. I'm crying. Oh, I got that core of the onion. Let me get that out. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this with the other half of the onion, and I'll be back. I wanted to show you. I've got it going a little bit better now. I'm still crying, but okay. So I've got these onions kind of chopped up in a pretty good size, diced, I would say. And then we're also going to go ahead and move that over to a bowl here. And then we're going to go ahead and chop up a few cloves of garlic. I've already peeled these. I'm going to say these are, I have a lot of little tiny cloves in here. So I would say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 cloves of garlic. And we're just going to mince these. Now, if you want to use jarred garlic, you can, or if you don't have any fresh garlic, you can use garlic powder. I really do think garlic is super important for this recipe though. I'm gonna have to dry my eyes in a minute because those onions have kicked my booty. Let's give it one final pass through here for the garlic. Okay, that's all chopped up, and we're just gonna put that aside, and I'm gonna go wipe my eyes. Okay, I'm still waiting for the bacon to kind of crisp up a little bit. Can't say it. But while I wait for that to crisp up, as you know, we're gonna be using some garlic and some onions. We're also gonna be using about 1/3 of a cup of flour. It's all-purpose flour. We're going to be using at least 1 stick of butter, maybe 2, depends how I feel. And I'm going to throw in some spices. I'm going to throw in some paprika. I'm going to throw in some garlic butter. My niece is calling the dog, so garlic butter, some salt, and some pepper, black pepper. And then I'm also going to be using some heavy cream and later on some milk as well. And of course the cheese. So we're waiting for this bacon to get all crispy. So it'll be a few more minutes and then we can start kind of combining everything. Okay, so this bacon is pretty well cooked. So we're gonna go ahead and get it out. This is probably not the best utensil to do so. Damn it. Give me a second, let's see. I'm a klutz in the kitchen, so I'm probably gonna end up making a mess with this. So we're gonna get the bacon out. And yeah, I cooked it pretty crispy because when it goes into the soup, it's going to kind of, if you leave it in for a minute, it's going to soften up. So you can cook it to your desired level if you want, but we are going to get this all out. And it's okay if there's a couple pieces left in there, it's not a big deal. But we're going to get some of that fat out as well. I am going to use a lot of this fat, but there's about, I don't know, 3/4 cup of fat. I'm going to just pour it into this bacon real quick. So I'm gonna save, I saved about a third of a cup. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions in. Don't come at me for my utensils. They work. So get that. Those onions sauteed. Got a little husk. I'm just gonna wait until they start to kind of start getting translucent a little bit. And I am also going to add my butter. So I'm going to start with a half a stick right now of butter. And I use real butter, no margarine, please. If that's all you have, whatever, but I use real butter. I probably should cut it up a little bit more. Let me take it out and cut it. Go. I need to get a towel. Okay, so these are getting nice and translucent. I'm gonna cook it probably for another 2 minutes, and then we'll add our garlic. Now, if you notice, this has been cooking for about 3 minutes. These onions are getting nice and soft. You could actually chop up some broccoli, chop it up kind of into bite-sized pieces, and then you can add it to these onions and get them all softened up if you want to. And also, I had put potatoes and carrots in here. That's boiling. And instead of having the carrots in there, you could actually shred carrots, and you can put the shredded carrots into the onion mixture as well. It's just kind of however you want. Like, this is, the bottom line is all this stuff is going to go in one pot, and however you want to end up doing it, that's perfectly fine. And as I mentioned before, if you don't want to use onions, you don't have to use onions. You can use onion powder. I just think the real thing is better. So these are getting pretty soft. And so I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic. And we're gonna get that all nice and fragrant and mixed up. So you wanna add your garlic at a later time after the onions are kind of cooked down a little bit, because garlic can become bitter, especially if it gets burned. And we're not going for that. So I wanted to show you what you could do if you don't want those chunks of onions. You could actually use an immersion blender or a regular blender, and you can, oh, that's totally wrong way. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you can blend this to kind of cream it up. And I've got that nice and creamed up. And just in case you have anybody that doesn't like the chunks. Anyhow, I'm going to put that aside for now. I'm going to use the rest of my stick of butter, and we're going to get that melted up. And I'm also going to add a little bit of this bacon fat. A little bit more of that bacon fat. raise this temperature. Get that all nice and melted, and we are going to brown our flour. So I want to make sure this gets nice and brown, like your booty. Just kidding. Oh my gosh, I cracked myself up. And we're browning this flour. It's getting nice and brown. If you can see, I'll get you a little closer. Getting all nice and browned up. Don't let it burn, so keep stirring it. Now I have a really good non-stick pan, but when you cook your bacon, if you have those little bacon bits at the bottom, make sure you scrape them and don't throw them away. That's all part of the flavor. So, keep that. You see how this flour is kind of bubbling up? That's a good sign that it's cooked. And we're gonna go ahead and add that creamed onion, garlic mixture. We'll get this scooped out really well. Turn down my heat a little bit and just get that all mixed up really good. Okay, let me grab the heavy cream. Okay, now for this, I'm just using the regular, this is from Sam's Club. For cooking, I just use regular heavy cream. And when I say regular heavy cream, now you get some really good cream from Trader Joe's, and I use that for like baking or like really good sauces. Or also, I think Albertsons has the Lucerne. Albertsons Market has the Lucerne heavy cream, something like that. Lucerne Valley or Lucerne something. Anyways, for this I'm just using a regular old run-of-the-mill heavy cream. And let me go back to this. I'm gonna probably start off with about a cup. Get that all mixed in. Let me switch over to my whisk. Where's my whisk? Got it. So that's all in there. Now I'm going to add about another cup. Get that all mixed in. This is going to thicken pretty fast because of the flour. Now, I forgot to do this, but I was going to add my spices while I was cooking the onions, and I forgot, but that's okay. I'm going to add a whole bunch of pepper. I don't know. It's probably going to be like, I don't know. It's like a teaspoon and a half, maybe. Now I'm going to add some paprika. That's about a teaspoon, maybe. It looks like a lot more, but no, I would say it's about a teaspoon. And then this is some garlic butter. And that was about a tablespoon. This is Kinder's garlic butter, by the way. Ooh. Okay. Let me get that all mixed in here. Now, if you don't have heavy cream, that's okay. Go ahead and just add milk. I like the heavy cream. I think it has like a richer flavor, but you could just add regular milk. And I am going to be adding regular milk later on because, I mean, I don't want to have gallons of heavy cream. But for now we've got this roux going, and we're just going to let it kind of simmer a little bit. And I am going to check on my potatoes. Okay, I just realized something. I don't have any chicken or vegetable stock. One of the things that we're going to be using, or we were going to be using later on, was some chicken broth, but I don't have any. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some chicken bouillon to this mixture here. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. That's about a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to go ahead and add to that. I'll mix it in to incorporate the flavors while we wait for those potatoes to cook. Finish softening up. And my bread is still rising in the oven right now. I turned off the oven and then I just put the bread in. It's taking forever to rise. And you know what I think I might have done was I think I might have killed the yeast. I think maybe the water that I added to the yeast was too hot. And sometimes that'll happen when you kill the yeast. You can't have the water too hot or it'll kill the yeast. But we'll see what happens. Okay. So that's all nice and incorporated. The potatoes are almost done. They are pretty tender. We still need a few more minutes. Cheese, I don't want too much. And then a little bit of sour cream. This has so much dairy in it, and I'm actually a little bit lactose intolerant. So it's gonna be a good night for me. Luckily, I'm not married, so I don't have anybody that has to suffer through. And then I have some dried chives. If I had fresh chives, I'd use it, but I don't. So some dried chives. And then I have my bread. Taste it. Oh, it's good. I'm only gonna get a little piece though. It's very garlicky. So, bon appetitas. Let me try it. It is so good. You have to try this, y'all. I got like cheese. It's delicious. Okay, bye.